The Michael Berry Show.
It's important to understand how bad ideas are passed off by a generation of people who don't understand how things have changed. So we were talking about the Republican Party up through Nixon, and Reagan was more of a Trump than I think people realize. Reagan's slogan in 1980, people look at me askance when I say this. Reagan's slogan was actually a reference to bringing back an America before the crazy 60s, before the crazy 70s, before the hyperinflation of Carter, before busing, which was bad for black kids and white kids, before the era of stagflation and failure. His slogan was, "Make America Great Again." It was a reference to bringing America back to the fundamentals, bringing America back to being the greatest in the world. So you have 8 years of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan famously said that libertarianism is the heart and soul of conservatism. The reason that was important is you have to realize that within the Republican tent, there is a certain contingent that if left to their own devices would never win an election, ever. They would never win. But they would like that because they see that as sort of the suffering of righteousness. These people will often cloak themselves in a very showy version of Christianity. You know the guy that when you see, he says, "Oh, we haven't seen you at church lately." Not the most Christian approach. But if you know this type of person, you know that Christianity is not for him a faith. It's like a country club membership. It's a way to say, I'm not gay or weird, nor do I have tattoos. I am righteous, and I like being righteous. The Bible points out people like this, and not in a good way. So we have this group of people. They're not really for anything, but they are against many things. Gambling is evil. Now, do they ever go over to Lake Charles and the Golden Nugget? Do they ever go to Vegas? Well, they do, but they like to be naughty. They feel very naughty when they do that. Because Jesus wouldn't want you to gamble, or so they'd say. Somehow it's okay if Jesus grants the Indians the license to do that. Feather not dot. Because Jesus doesn't mind if the Indians make a little money on the reservation. These are people who are against gambling. These are people who focus their entire lives. And by the way, let's be very clear, and this makes people uncomfortable, it is true. The tendency to sit around as a bitter, angry person claiming to be of deep faith. And he's having fun over there. What's he doing over there? Check what he's doing. Check what he's doing and make it illegal. What's she doing over there? Her skirt's too high. What's she doing? Is she having fun? No. That mindset, the angry, bitter, jealous, controlling mindset, is at the heart of the Islamic crowd in the world. You ever stop and think to yourself, how does somebody, as a Muslim, feel good about throwing homos off the top of a building? How do you justify that in your mind? You're homo, therefore you get pushed off the side of a building. How do you do that?